What's up? What's up? What's up, Facebook fam? Come on in. Come on in. It is Wife Masterclass time. And I am so excited that it's Wife Masterclass time. And so I wanted to come on here a few minutes early because for the first time, I'm going to be actually streaming Wife Masterclass to a couple of different platforms. So I'm excited. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you so much for hitting the share button because I was going to do it normally how I do Wife Masterclass on a whole different platform. Thank you so much, Joanna, for joining me. I was going to do it on a different platform, but God just told me that it is so many marriages going through that I needed to open it up and not just put it in a private group like I normally do. So I thank you guys so much for joining me. And so tonight, Wife Masterclass is going to run for another 3 weeks every single Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so I want you guys to mark your calendars because I have two other amazing people that are going to be joining us in Wife Masterclass. I'm opening up, and then we will have two-time Grammy Award winning speech from Arrested Development. Next Thursday, he's going to come and give us a male's perspective on whatever. And so, all you wives out there, please email me or DM me your questions that you want to ask speech. He is an open book, and I'm so excited to have him. I had the honor of speaking on another platform with him. He's an amazing, amazing man of God, and so he's like, I want to come and I just want to serve you ladies. So if you have any questions that you can't ask your husband, anything you want a male's perspective on, next Thursday at 8:30 p.m. will be your time to get those questions answered. I will never use your name, so don't worry about that. But make sure that you either DM me or email me to let me know what your question is, and just in the title, if you email me speech, a question for speech or whatever. And if you don't know who Arrested Development is, you're doing yourself a disservice. Just Google Arrested Development. They're two-time Grammy Award winning group. He's amazing. And again, he's a man of God. So he'll be coming on next Thursday at 8:30 p.m. And then I have the signature wife herself, Miss Deidre Russell, that's going to come and pour into you guys as well. And so I'm just excited about this. And I like I said, God told me to open up Wife Masterclass, to more people on more platforms this time because I got some sad news that 42% of marriages are going to end and fail by December 31st, 2020. And a lot of it had to do with COVID and all of those different kind of things that are going on in people's households now that, quarantine happened and all those things. And what I believe is that the quarantine is not the problem. It's just that we haven't been addressing those problems in our own households, and it just became this pressure cooker. We're not communicating. We're not honoring one another. We're not doing so many different things in our marriage. And so tonight, I'm going to talk to you about unconditional love. But before I do that, I want to award two women that literally when I put Wife Masterclass out to my list, and also when I do my wife chats on Tuesday on my main page, they responded right away. And even though this is free, and even though anybody can hop on, these women decided to register because the only way you can win all of my amazing gifts and get my new ebook. Everybody who registers for my Wife Masterclass is going to get my new Unconditional Love ebook, and it's an amazing book, and it just really talks about love in a whole different way. But Miss Barbara Cotton, if you from Philadelphia, if you're watching this, please DM me. You get a choice of my One Sexy Wife bling shirt. Y'all see that? And this is a $35 value. And we have anywhere from an extra small all the way to a 2X. And or you get a choice of 2 of my books, right? So whichever one you choose, Miss Barbara Cotton from Philadelphia, if you guys know her, she was the very first person that reacted and registered for a Wife Masterclass. So I thank you for doing that. And Miss Stephanie Hubbard from Jackson, Mississippi. You also are a winner. You was the second person that registered for Wife Masterclass. And let me just tell you, we have over 475 women registered for Wife Masterclass. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I will be giving away more goodies from some of my people. I have stuff from Bedroom Candy. I have stuff from Pure Romance. I have stuff from, I mean, you name it. I have some stuff to give you guys throughout this whole entire Wife Masterclass series. So stay tuned. And then on the very last Wife Masterclass, I will be giving away a free VIP package to my 2021 virtual BSB. It's going to be the first time it's virtual, but it's going to be immersion because we're going to be live. And, you know, you still going to get all the goodie bags mailed to you. All the stuff that we do normally, it's going to happen virtually. So I'm super excited about that. And so, again, you'll be getting a complete package, VIP. We're going to still be doing all our sextras. It'll just be online. Like, you'll get all your swag that you get when you come to my conference. And you ladies know how I put it down at my conference. Y'all get some good stuff. Right? So you'll be getting all of that good stuff in the mail. So I'll talk about that towards the end. But let's just talk about why unconditional love is important in your marriage. And again, sometimes, and I've been there, you're like, how can I even love him when we don't even talk? We don't get along. We just exist until COVID is over, whatever. But through this all, no matter how bad it gets, you still have to love that person. And I'll tell you why in a second. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, right? That who shall ever believe in him shall have eternal life. That's John 3:16. Because God's love for us is 100% unconditional. I don't care how bad we behave. I don't care what we have done. His love is never waning. And that is something that is mind-blowing when you really stop and think about it, because we have gotten mad at our children. We have gotten mad at our husbands. We got mad at work. We just, and then we just say, I hate you. I don't want to be bothered with you or whatever. But God never takes that stand with us in our marriages, right? Because he ordained marriage. He created marriage, and he said it was oh so good. And so when you're looking at unconditional love, you have to stop and think, am I loving that person with my flesh? Or am I loving that person with the Spirit of God? And do I view that person the way God views me? That is a question to ponder. Because I have been in a situation in my marriage. Y'all know I've been married 32 years. Where Gil didn't like me and I sure didn't like him. The only reason why we were staying in one household was financial and these kids. And my thoughts was ding, 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 11th grade, ding, 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 I'm gone. You know what I mean? Because my mindset was I was loving him with my flesh, not with the Spirit of God. And I know I'm not talking to myself. And so let's look at how to love somebody unconditionally, even when they're not treating you the way you feel you should be treated, even if they're not acting the way you feel that they should be acting, even if they talk to you like you're nothing to them. If you learn to suppress the flesh and allow God to rise up in any situation, that's where love, unconditional love, can kick in. Love is not how you feel. It's more about how you act and respond. Love is not how you feel. It's about how you act and respond. And that is hard. It is really, really hard because I get a chance and an opportunity. Like literally, I had 7 consultations today on top of 2 meetings and all my stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm so tired. I just want to cancel this and go to bed because people who know me, I'm usually in bed by 9 p.m. But God's like, no, my people need to hear what you have to say. And that's just the devil that is trying to make you not go live and do what you're supposed to be doing. I'm going to give you the strength. Now that's love. That is God's love for me, that he renewed me before I'm able to come on here and talk to you guys. The definition of unconditional love is known as affection without limitations, or love without any conditions. That's powerful. Love without any limitations and love without conditions. And again, we live in this flesh, and everything that we do usually has some kind of conditions to it. You buy a car, you got to have some conditions to it. You got to make the payments on this date, and all of these different, everything we do usually has some kind of conditions on it. Whether you're getting your hair done, there's some conditions on it. Whatever in life, there's usually some conditions on it. But when God said he loved, that he literally gave his son, so we could have that is amazing to me. That is literally amazing, because I have 2 children, and there's no way that I would just give them up. I just couldn't give them up, not willingly. But when we got married, I think, well, for me, I'm going to say for me, not for everybody. I said the vows, but I wasn't prepared to live the vows. I'm not a component of abuse, physically or mentally. So let's get that straight. But there is a way that you can love your spouse and leave them too if they're physically and mentally abusing you. Because that's not the will of God for your life. And that's not what he put y'all together, for you to be mentally or physically abused. Because I don't tell you guys to do anything that I wouldn't do or wouldn't tolerate myself. So let's look at how come sometimes it's hard for us to love our spouses unconditionally. You may have faced infidelity, a loss of a child where it comes to miscarriage or violence, financial issues, a lack of intimacy and affection, family issues when it comes to in-laws, unmet expectations. They might have sent their representative and wooed you, and then as soon as you said I do, they said they don't, right? It could be physical and mental abuse. What is it? I probably didn't call your ticket, but what is it that is keeping you from loving your spouse unconditionally? It is hard because, again, I get to hear it every single day, and it's packaged different because we all have a different threshold when we come to what we're going to put up with. And again, I am not down for mental or physical abuse. I'm going to make that very clear. Please don't email me, because I'm not going to respond. Because I stand for marriage, but I don't stand for abuse. And I've helped many women get out of that situation. Because love does not hit. Don't hit. I don't know who that was for. But let's look at, how do we practice unconditional love, and why we should practice unconditional love with our spouse. Unconditional love is not tied to a job, a title, how much money they make. It's not tied to if they rub your feet every night. It's not tied to them doing everything that you want them to do and all. It's not tied to that. It's a spiritual thing. It is a spiritual thing. Because every single day to love your spouse unconditionally, the first thing is you have to die to yourself. You have to die to yourself. Not put yourself on the back burner, but you have to die to yourself. And that's hard, especially when you feel that they don't deserve it. Especially when you're questioning, do you want to stay in this marriage? Do you want to stay in this covenant? The next thing is practice open, honest communication. And sometimes that's hard, especially if one of you guys are shut off and everything that you guys say ends up in an argument. But you got to practice open, honest communication. And you have to communicate in a non-defensive way. So whenever Gil and I are not on the same page, and I use my hands a lot, as you guys can see, I have to practice sitting on my hands so I'm not flailing my hands and putting him in a defensive posture. Because I talk all the time with my hands. But in order to diffuse and not escalate, I have learned that I need to sit on my hands. Not that I'm going to punch him or anything like that. I wanted to? Absolutely. But in order for me not to put him in a defensive posture, I have learned to sit on my hands. Number 3, when you're learning to love somebody unconditionally, you got to stop and think before you respond. Because anybody can take you from 0 to 100. We all been there. But there's a technique that I have learned and I teach my clients. And it's a technique that has taken me a long way because I came from a long line of women, and you guys know my story. I am a boss, right? And at the end of the day, some of my words that I was spewing in my marriage hurt, and you can never take them back. You can say you're sorry, but you will never, ever, ever be able to take them back. And so the technique that I teach my clients is, the first thing is, do I have to say what I'm about to say right now? Do I have to say it right now? The second thing is what I'm about to say out of my mouth, am I going to have to apologize for later? And the third thing is what I'm about to say, what I wanted said back to me. Again, my mouth is a lethal weapon. I know it. And some of the stuff that I would spew out of my mouth, I would never, ever allow Gil to say those things to me. So those 3 things, if you are at a height of saying, intense fellowship, that's what Christian people like to say. I call it just argument, right? Which is fine, right? Because everybody argues. But if you can put those 3 things in place, I'm telling you, your communication level will go to a whole nother level. Because again, communication is the key to absolutely everything. And it's a key component to loving somebody unconditionally. Number 4, you need to learn to listen, to understand, not listen to respond. That's so hard. Listen to understand the other person's point of view and not to respond. Because most of the time we're listening to be able to respond and get our point across. That's not unconditional love. Because when you're speaking, you want the other person to listen. And I think Kamala Harris, that's just a side note, did a great job telling Mr. that she was speaking last night. But I don't even know why I said that. But anyway. Don't let, number 5, don't let the little small things that annoy you become big things and put a wedge between you and your spouse. Because I know those little things that annoy you, if you don't address them and you just keep letting them go, what happens is you make a molehill into a mountain. You just let it keep piling up. And it could be something so simple that you could just have a conversation with your spouse about that can take you over the edge. And it had nothing to do with that small thing if you would have just addressed it. And again, you're probably saying, Gail, what does this have to do with unconditional love? It's the small things that we allow to come into our marriages that cause us to question, do I really still love this person? Do I still want to carry on in this? Has so much happened that I just want to throw in the towel. But it's all emotional. Because if you need to end your marriage and you're questioning if you love that person, ending your marriage is something totally different. Because I know some people who have ended marriages and they still love the person. They just could not be with the person because they was physically or mentally abusive. Because love never fails and it never changes. God's word said that. And so if you're in a situation where you're questioning if you can have unconditional love for your spouse, the question becomes, was you really that in love with them in the first place? Or was it infatuation? Was it that high that you got when y'all engaged in amazing sex? Was it that high that you got when he bought you amazing things? Was it that high that he had this title and you're going to get to live this lifestyle? What is it? Because again, unconditional love is never changing. It's not about you. It's about trying to lend yourself to satisfy someone else's needs, wants, and desires. And God's example of that is that he gave his son. God's example of that is that he gave. He didn't take, he gave. And when I wanted to change my behavior and my marriage and how I showed up in my marriage, I began to sow for what I wanted. Even when my flesh was saying, I want out. Even when my flesh was saying, this is not working. Even when my flesh was saying, every time I'm trying to be nice, he acting crazy. But I had to go back and say, okay, I love this person. Beyond all the chaos that I caused and he's caused, you know, my barometer is a little bit higher because I caused more than he did. But at the end of the day, I love him. And I know he loves me. So with that, we can get through absolutely anything. Again, you keep your hands to yourself and I keep mine to mine. I'm not going to be called out of my name and I'm not going to call you out of my name, your name. But again, that's unconditional love. The question is, if you're ready to throw in the towel, What are the conditions that you have put on your marriage that God can't fix? Because he gave us this perfect example. The other thing is that you need to pray and ask God to restore and to heal you wherever you've been hurt. Ask God to heal and restore you wherever you've been hurt. Because I know it's hard. I do. But again, when you say that I love this person, there's no conditions. And the last thing I want to say is learn to walk in forgiveness. And forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. Because so many of us are carrying unforgiveness. And that's the reason why we have high blood pressure, ulcers, not sleeping at night, all of those different things, because we're holding on to something that you're not supposed to hold on to. And the more you hold on to it, the more you keep driving a wedge between you and your spouse. And the more the flesh takes over. And the more you begin to question. Remember, unconditional love is to love someone no matter what life throws at us, not you. Because if you really became one flesh, it is us, not me, not you. So again, I thank you guys so much for joining me. I will make sure that I go back and read all of you guys' comments. But again, thank you, Andrea, for joining me. You talk with your hands too. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And before I get off of here, I just want to tell you again, next Thursday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, we will have the amazing two-time Grammy Award winning speech from Arrested Development. He will be coming and giving you guys a master class on, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna ask him all the hard questions, but I need you guys' help to make sure that I ask the questions that you want me to ask. I've gotten some questions, but I need some more. So make sure that you either DM me or email me your questions. Also, again, I thank you guys so much for joining me here on Masterclass. There's a lot going on here behind the scenes. If you know Miss Barbara Cotton and Miss Stephanie Hubbard from Jackson, Mississippi, please tell them to either DM me because they are winners. Next week, I will have some more giveaways for you guys. Make sure that you register at wifemasterclass.com so that way you can get in the pool to receive my free ebook, Unconditional Love. And then also make sure that you're able to register to get the free prizes because, again, I love to give away good prizes. Also, just to let you know, BSB 2021 has went virtual, and I'm so excited about it. It's going to be a hybrid of us live coming into you guys, but don't worry, you will get your swag bags, you will get all your goodies, you will get every single thing that you get at the conference. We're going to do the show, we're going to do the art of the script, we're going to do it all virtually. So I'm just excited about that. I met with the amazing Rhonda White, the conference architect, and she is like working really hard behind the scenes to make sure that we pull this off, and it's going to be amazing. So if you want to register, just go to my website and click on Bringing Sexy Back. There is a special price going on right now for $89 that will go up. And again, there's a VIP price on there as well. So make sure that you guys register early because I want to make sure you get all your goodie bags and all your swag and all the stuff we're giving away in the mail. My team is going to make sure that happens for you. And again, I thank you guys so much. I'm going to play my little video now. And again, thank you guys so much for joining me here in Wife Masterclass. And remember, walk in love, especially with your spouse, because you guys are one flesh. Have an amazing night. I will see you on Tuesday for Wife Chat.
We're bringing sexy back. We're bringing sexy back.
Let's get it started. Harder, won't you give it up? What you invited, we're gonna